What's up guys, hope you're having fun. And today's tutorial is about local storage and web security. We're going to take a look at HTML5 storage API and how to make use of them. And at the same time we're going to take a look at how to store those data using web security. Let's go ahead and try to take a look why we need data storage. So most of the time, whether it is a desktop application or web application, data storage is fundamental because you will have to store users' names and maybe game preferences or software preferences. The list is endless. But up for the web application, most of the time you will have to store it on the server and try to retrieve it back and then display it to the client. So we try to create normally some linking between the client and the server. Now, using HTML5, we can actually remove this dependency on server, and what we try to do is we try to store them on the client side. So this can be normally carried out using the simple mechanism of cookies. With Storage API, now we can make use of only simple lines of codes and try to develop great web application that allow persistent data storage. Well, cookies, most of the time they sucks. Obviously, it gives you pain to work with them, and if you can't understand the code, you just go to Peter Paul Coach Cookie Code and copy paste and just write them away. So the main solution to that is to use web storage, which is supported in almost all the latest browser, even IE. Now, one key advantage of this API is it's going to help you to differentiate between session data and then a long-term data. And the storage API, we have session storage and local storage, and most of the time you want concurrent access to data, same as mutual exclusion in storing data in databases. Same with storage API, you can develop some encryption, not encryption algorithm, but simple algorithm to just allow you have access to the storage data easily. So the storage API most of the time offers session storage and local storage. There are some web SQL storage and IndexedDB, but IndexedDB resides on the client and you can create as large database as you want. But it's not supported in most of the browsers like web SQL. W3C is going to stop its development in coming years, so it's better we're going to concentrate on session storage and then local storage. So session storage, I've said, you want a window until the window is closed when the session has ended, right? So close the window, the data is going to be destroyed, right? So most of the time you should avoid having data session link across different windows, whether for local storage, etc. So local storage data is tied to a particular origin and span all windows that are open on that domain. So if you set some data on local storage, it immediately becomes available on any other windows on the same domain. So maybe one of the mechanisms that we're going to take a look is if you're making use of storage and one web application is already open on your browser, what's going to happen on another window if we open the same local storage? So you can develop some algorithms on your own to prevent this mutual exclusion mechanism to the data. That is, only one application can access the data at a time. So otherwise you can close your browser, reboot your machine and go back to it days later. The data will still be there. So you have persistent access to those data. So event handling is a very important mechanism. It's like triggers. So once a change has occurred, if you have understand database, and you will know about triggers. So whatever change you just made, for example, an insertion in the database with local storage API, you can take a look at event handling, whereby one of the data we have make a change and we want another application to grab that change and display it, right? Maybe you can have an iframe in another window, which is one window writing to it, and the iframe is going to display the changes happening to the web application. So we'll talk a bit later about event handling and how to make use of them. For now I'm using Visual Studio to show you some code out. Basically most of the browsers will require you to have a local host server to test it at home. So this is very easy. Mozilla doesn't require it, but Chrome you will need to have a server. Now let me show you where is actually the data stored. So local storage is actually being used by Facebook, by Twitter, and you will see that in local storage we store data using a key and then a value. So one key you're going to have one value. But we've advanced in object-oriented programming. You may store an object and use JSON string to stringify the data and then parse out the data. So we're going to take a look how we can send an object directly to the browser, to the local storage, and then retrieve those data and perform some manipulation with it. So it's going to be an exciting way of working with object-oriented programming, JavaScript, and then manipulating with things. So, well, let's go ahead. You will see that we don't need a file, we don't need anything. It's just a browser that's going to take care of that. Well, first of all, let's take a look if window, to access it, to check whether it is available on your browser, you just do window.local storage. Window.local storage. Then you alert. Your browser supports local storage. Okay. So here are not added normally this action to be taken care of right away when the window is loaded. So we can do window.onload equal to function. So we won't take a look at it right away when it is loaded. So let me go and start this on Internet Explorer right away and see if normally, so you should allow the script to be run on your browser. You wait a minute because Internet Explorer is really cumbersome in terms of those data. So we're running it on localhost. So you're just going to get this message that your browser supports local storage, right? So let's say it's going to support. Now so I'm going to open it with Google Chrome. Okay, so Google Chrome also supports local storage. Now if I have some time, I have 2 minutes, so I can just show you how we can make use of local storage. So like I said, with local storage you can make use of it using a key and then access it. And then you may make use of JSON, which is a JavaScript object notation, to take care of that. So local storage, don't use key. Local storage dot set item. So I'm going to use, for example, let's say user is going to come, let's say storage com9, and he's going to set a key as 1234, and you can also get this item because this is going to be stored locally. So you can alert local storage dot get item, and I'm going to access it using storage. So with this I can get it with the key. So this is a key and this is a value. Now let's go ahead and try this on Chrome and see what happened. Okay, let me just refresh it over here. So your browser supports local storage, then the key is 123. Now let me show you what happened on the server side, on the client side. You go to developer tools. What you're going to have is you're going to have access to storage, and then the value is 123. So you can say if we don't encrypt this data, and if you're using your web application, it's going to create a problem. That is, you can easily have access to your key and then your value. So these are the security issues that you may cater for later on. right? So this is very important. So check out the next video. Maybe we'll take a look about how to get the key, how to display large amount of data for the user. Thanks for watching.